crypto debate begin. Ladies and gentlemen, you are free to speak your mind and share your point of view at any point during the discussion. The Securities Exchange Commission issues 80 subpoenas, including 18 Russian ICOs. The question is the SEC cleaning house the right way, or is it overreaching by asking Russian citizens to appear in American courts? Let's begin with Ethereum's Vlad Martinov. Vlad, what is your take on the issue?
Well, first of all, I think there is no Russian agenda, because I don't know how they classified 18 out of 80 ICO project being Russian, because basically today maybe around 60 or 70% of Russian programmers and development behind global blockchain startup. Well, there are several theories I have why they do so. First is they might ask a lot of tough questions to these 80 ICOs, trying to understand if there is any scam or any scam-like projects. Maybe they try to learn how it works and mechanics, and basically come up with better legislation in the future. I don't know. But most likely they're cleaning the house and they're trying to prevent the scam ICOs.
So no Russian agenda.
No Russian agenda.
And that's a good thing to know. Now, Riggs, you are currently in process of creating an ICO out of an incorporated company that's been functioning for over 10 years. Perhaps you can explain how you are taking into account the recent actions by the Exchange Commission and planning to protect your company from such subpoenas.
Well, Miguel, it's well overdue. I think that what you're seeing is a rubber band effect as the SEC catches up. And my view is that they are excited to have coin offerings, but they really want them in a regulatory framework. And I really see that as a public company, we're so accustomed to this. I believe that the way we're going to reach the mainstream investor in America and the world is by having regulated offerings such as the SEC is promoting.
My view is slightly different. I think the problem is the US has a dominant position and wants to control the market directly with aggressive administrative measures. But it's not the way things work in the digital world. That's not how the digital economy works. I think they'll run into a lot of problems with this approach.
Nadezhda, now what is your take as a State Duma member?
Actually, just like my colleagues, I think that blockchain is global. It knows no borders. I'm very grateful to the United States, because it's a Silicon Valley of sorts for Russia. Let's be honest, we test our ICOs in America, right? And right now America is taking steps to identify speculative ICOs. We understand that 90% of ICOs are just shells. They don't have the real token economy behind them. They've nothing behind them. So I think what the US is doing is identifying real ICOs that have a tangible product.
Tone, what do you think of this move by the SEC? Is it curbing the herd, or is it overreaching a little bit?
I don't think it's overreaching, because I'm sure they have looked at some evidence. If they have evidence that a US citizen participated in the initial ICO of a foreign company, then the US regulators do have jurisdiction. And they're probably subpoenaed those companies where they can actually have a bit of a case. Now, I do agree that it's not some kind of a witch hunt against Russia. And maybe they could have sent out a subpoena to all of them, but they probably don't even have the manpower to do that.
I just wanted to ask the colleagues from the US, what do you think about the Praetorian Grip application that is supposed to...
This is a great debate, and it was really nice that RT actually shares, multiple viewpoints. I don't know if we always get that with traditional American media, but I'm going to favor, like I said, it's hard to regulate the digital economy, but unfortunately, if you haven't watched this channel, I've covered BitConnect and other scams similar to BitConnect, and our government needs to do something like that, because unfortunately we do have a lot of citizens that will be harmed and don't know what they're doing. Obviously, going after people outside of the U.S., I wouldn't agree with. But if people in the U.S. are going to get involved and put their money into this stuff, I do feel like they should and have some sort of regulation. And in the beginning, they even mentioned if we want to get to that $1 trillion market cap, or let cryptocurrency really grow into a vibrant economy. And remember, when the market caps are larger, it's harder to manipulate the market. If the cryptocurrency market is 20 trillion, it's a lot easier, or it's a lot harder to manipulate than a 200 billion market cap. So my personal opinion, they should definitely leave other citizens of other countries alone. Other ICOs, if they don't want to deal with U.S. regulation, they should probably just stay away from U.S. consumers, and they should be allowed to obviously trade with people outside of the U.S. But I do think that the SEC is doing the right thing, and they need to protect the citizens, because unfortunately there's a lot of people that have no clue what they're doing, and there's going to be plenty of scams with or without regulation. So as long as they're not overstepping their boundary, I'm okay with it. But let me know what you guys think. It's a really interesting debate. Would love to see your comments, and I will talk to you guys soon.